YouTube channel, bexbugoutsurvivor. Today we're looking at ONETIGRES compound hammock, but I want to stretch it out on a longer span of tree and try it, and next week we'll come to both the underquilts. I have one rated for 4 season, one rated for 3 season, and I intend to combine them both together. And if you think you've seen their underquilts set to a hammock before on other videos, you want to watch that video coming up, because I set mine totally different and it's made a 100% remarkable improvement on the fitting. I'm carrying everything I would ordinarily for a night camp, because I do want to test all the components in the pack that I think is going to be suitable for the project. I've got loose filled my tarp here, and this is the compound hammock. Now, there was originally many complaints to ONETIGRES that the tree webbing wasn't substantial enough, in the fact it didn't have enough daisy chain loops. I think it only had 3 and the length was very short. They've certainly addressed that issue with these new daisy chains. They are certainly long enough now, and they have plenty of daisy chain connections, and the hammock also comes with the actual carabiners, really great little lightweight ones as well, no rubbish. But one thing I like to test for is its stretch. How much does it stretch under your body weight? And I'm about to find that out. I would tell you if I don't like any part of this system. I really would, because I've been so disappointed with other people's kit that it's just not worth giving a dishonest or ingenuous review of these. I've only used the hammock on a hammock stand back at base camp, so it'd be interesting to put a couple of these up actually and connect the hammock. We'll have a look at all its features, and believe me, it's got a lot of features that other hammocks haven't. Back to the hammock, where I've removed the tree straps from the actual mesh pockets. The bag can be totally separated here. Some are attached to the hammock. I've got a separate bag, and this can be hung on the ridgeline in a few minutes time, and I've got a gear loft. This is the compound hammock. Now, it has an adjustable built-in ridgeline. There's your adjuster for that, onto this strap, which comes onto your gathered end ropes of the hammock. Now, this has been locked head hitched in. Now, I don't actually do that. I actually prefer mine undone like that, so I have what looks like a normal hammock, and I like to connect in like that. It just gives me a very definitive left and right to deal with, and eliminates a lot of twist. But if you are happy as it comes standard, I would leave it like that. It's more for my own personal preference how I address that. All I'm going to do is click this into one of the tree webbing daisy points. I've pitched, leaving 2 or 3 loops available, or 2 actually up there. And I can adjust further down if I haven't got enough span, but I've got a very short span of tree, which is going to dictate which of these daisy loops I'm actually going to use. So let's move that as we should. And there, the tree isn't under any tension, and although I have my full weight on it, look, there's a gap under there. Wouldn't camp here overnight for love and the money. Too many widow makers. The no-seeing mesh, the bug mesh, which is only on one side, so I have to exit on one side, which is a shame. I'm sure that ONETIGRES will listen to any of these little improvements that are suggested, and maybe the next version will be double entry. As it goes, it's not my only single entry hammock, and I'm more than happy. For the price, which is hardly anything really for what you pay, you get a lot of hammock here. And as I lay back there, I have the ridgeline so loose that it's actually in my face, so I can tighten that up, and I can even bring it in like that to get a diagonal lay. Makes the hammock shorter, gives you more sag, get that diagonal lay. I don't always do that, because this is one comfy hammock. If you get your head up one end, sink it lower than your feet, and spread your feet apart either side, you're going to get a flat lie. By the way, I'm not sponsored by ONETIGRES. I bought all the kit myself with my own money. They have no idea I'm reviewing this. If you're used to watching this channel, you'll understand that I moan like hell if I don't like something. So far, so good. I'm going to get this little piece of ridgeline out of my face. One end of the ridgeline is on a steel beaner. Now, I thought these were plastic, but they're not. These are high-grade steel. There's no skimping with any part of this material, and it runs all the way into the hammock, under the bug mesh, and yonder over other side to here, where I can simply pull this and get the tension, and you'll see this fluorescent part here, which is the ridge, come up to support the net. So toddle back, give it a little pull, and that has raised the ridge. But what that means, now I've adjusted it, is next time I come to pitch this, it will always have that same sag. If you want more sag, give it more sag. Next time you pitch up, it'll be exactly right for you as the previous time. So you can dial this in and perfect it for your optimum comfort. And not everyone's comfort is going to be identical to somebody else. So it's worth playing about with. I did have an adjustable ridgeline on another hammock by another company. It didn't really work out for me. It took me all night to get it comfortable. When I looked at the old time, it was wakey time. It was about 6 in the morning. Hadn't slept all night, just trying to get it comfy. So this is a job that's worth doing. Get it right, and you're going to be perfect each and every time. I'm just going to take my boots off and get a feel for the hammock now. And I don't always do a diagonal lay because I bought quilts that are for a straight lie. So for a flat hammock straight down the ridge, I need to pull myself up a bit and kick a leg either side, so I don't keep my feet in the centre like that. Kick a foot that way, kick a foot that way, spread your feet out all the way, and this drops your legs so you've got a flat back and you have a flat lay. You don't have to do the diagonal sleep to be flat, you really don't. It's just a little know-how. You've got to get them feet right over to the edge of the hammock there. I like to be up this end, and what that means is it raises my head. It feels like I have a pillow, which is why I don't bring a pillow. The mesh is on orange cord and it doesn't have the pull. The metal pull has been removed and the cord has been replaced, and that's an old army trick, so whoever designed this hammock knows what they're doing. Pop the feet back in, spread them apart, undo up, and there's one on the top so I can bring one down to meet the other like that. A shield that comes over your top quilt or your sleeping bag and is zipped in from both sides. Now on another hammock you might have seen me had to go out and buy a sock, a wind sock that goes entirely over the hammock, but this just zips into place, and I have tested this and it does block all the wind from hitting the top of your sleeping bag. So I'm going to zip up the left and the right, and it's a very thin duvet, but it'll also, in my case, hopefully keep off all the morning dew and moisture build up from reaching that sleeping bag. You can see it forms a shield which can be suspended from the ridgeline. Okay, I've just stepped out to show you these. On that little top shield is some webbing and some stretch string there, some elastic, and I put a couple of knots in, so it's come through itself. One knot there, one knot there. It doesn't come with the knots, you can do it however you want, and it hooks up to the ridge. Pop the knot behind the hook, and that supports the actual shield and makes an air draft, a warm air draft. Especially if you've got a little hot water bottle in for the night, you could do this all the way down the hammock. And those little gadgets there work like a prusik, where I can just stretch the actual cord along the line and get a different kind of pitch every time. And this keeps my sleeping bag all nice and dry from the British morning dew, which is why I bought this system rather than another company's system, because I like the concept. I want to get in at night, flip open the bug net, and look, they're on crash zips. I can just pull them apart like that, keep the shield in place, and simply get in for the night. I'm lying on a portion of it. I've done one side, just zip up the other. And hang it up for the night on them hooks. I could do with my glasses on at this point. there. And it zipped right over my shoulder. Already it's creating its own little bit of warmth, which it's not a particularly cold day, but neither is it summer. So for an environment like the UK, between them seasons where we have very high humidity, this is going to be ideal for keeping my sleeping bag or my quilt dry from the morning precipitation, especially the morning dew. I have always used goose down quilts, and in the night, or rather early morning, all that morning dew saturates the quilt and it no longer functions for insulation. So for winter UK, I've switched to synthetics. So there are synthetic quilts for this, and I've got them in the pack. But for now, I'm just going to pop the sleeping bag in. I've brought it with me, and rather than put it in and out of that stuff sack each and every time, I'm going to put it in the hammock and leave it in the hammock, zipped in place. It's all loose filled into the pack, along with the underquilts, which stay with the hammock. I've never seen any logic at all from splitting underquilts from hammocks. Now, one thing you want to note how I do this, if you do want to replicate any of this, is how the sleeping bag here is left unzipped. And I'm not actually getting in it, it's zipped at the foot end, but it's more like a duvet. Here's the hood, which becomes a face shield. So I am all underneath inside this insulation here. Now I have this shield here to keep that morning dew off. So that's the sleeping bag inside the hammock, and it's going to stay there. What's to stop it from getting wet in the pack? I use 100-litre dry liners, which I'm going to line my pack with, and that way, instead of having, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 stuff sacks, even at 3 minutes to pack a stuff sack. What did I say there was? 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 threes, 12 minutes just to pack everything away. With this kind of arrangement, keeping all your elements loose filled, I only pack into 1 stuff sack. This is only my preference, by the way. It's not a necessity. They are the quilts by ONETIGRES that go with this particular hammock, which is a single. There are quilts for doubles. It's a single, and that is indicated by the width. The width of this is around 4 foot. It's a single, and I think it's about 8.5 foot long. These quilts are made for that hammock. It comes with its own reflective line halfway down here, which you can peg to the ground. And on some people's channels, I've heard them quote, it's to stop the hammock from swaying from side to side, unquote. It's not my theory. My theory is it just makes a handy little gear loft there to put your water bottle. And looking from underneath, now you can probably see how a bottle would fit into that a lot better. When I let go, I lose the ability to use this as an extra gear stow. Only my opinion, I think that's what it is for. It would make more sense. I'm going off memory here that the ONETIGRES hammock is about 910 grams, but I'm going to put it in the caption in the corner here to correct myself if that is wrong. and I recall paying about $68, and obviously the shipping on that. The great thing is I didn't have to pay the shipping because of a promotion that they had, and I'll talk about that in a minute, how you're going to save yourself some money using their code to get express shipping for free. This is the little bag, if you recall, it came with the mesh pouches, and on each corner is a little loop of webbing which I'm going to put up onto the ridge. Find that corner webbing which is here, put it over your hook and pull on this little prusik gadget to get that tight. And I have the gear loft. So the gear loft will have 2 mesh pockets on one side for your cell phone or whatever you want really, and all your bits and bobs that you want to keep safe for the night in there. And because this is on prusiks, I can move the gear loft one way or the other to have it closer to my feet or closer to my head end, on your personal preference there. Okay, the delivery was quoted up to 21 days, free shipping, and usually for people like me in the UK buying from the States there's always import. I didn't have import, buy-in direct from ONETIGRES as I did. I saw a promotion that if I put their code in I get 10% off. Now that 10% just happened to be the same price as their 3 to 6 day express delivery, worth about 20 bucks, which is about 13 UK pounds. And I thought that is worth it, so I put the code in and clicked the box that said I want the express delivery. It was here in 5 days, so we're 1 day under where they quoted. I was meant to have it on the 5th of this month. I actually got it on the 4th of this month. Really good, free express delivery and no customs when I used it, because I went directly to ONETIGRES. A lot of quilts and things that ONETIGRES do, I'm not sure about the hammock, probably available as well also on Amazon. Pricey Amazon. You're much better off using the company ONETIGRES, in my opinion. So for $68, and I'll have to put a conversion up here on the right hand side here, you get a lot of hammock. You don't just get a hammock, you get the hammock, an adjustable ridgeline, the weather shield, the bug net. Remember, you also get the new improved tree webbing, and by the way, there's no stretch. The beaners, they're free, they're bound to be cheap and heavy. Wrong. They're lightweight. They do not skip corners trying to get a bit of profit for themselves and passing all that expense to you. To be honest, I think the profit margin for ONETIGRES is small. Last week we looked at the compound hammock, and here it is, all set up, waiting to receive the quilts. ONETIGRES winter quilt, and over here a ONETIGRES summer quilt.